Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of Saturday Night Live. Now, I'm not really sure how this is all going to sound to you guys compared to before. I got to stop this mic from peaking real quick. There we go. That's a little better. It's, who said it? Tales of Gore, you made a really good point that you're surprised there's not a lot more people streaming this morning after the events from last night. And I was debating whether or not to stream this morning. Normally I don't stream on Saturdays, as you know. And I was, but last night I was setting up the new studio here, which obviously I still have just vapor lock over my wall. The walls aren't done. I'm just going to put some backdrops up eventually, but I realized I didn't have anything to hang my backdrops on, so I got to go take care of that. But anyway, and I was reluctant actually to do this, but my wife's like, you should go test out your equipment in the morning. I'm like, oh, cool. You're not planning on getting up early. So here I am. Welcome to this special edition. Maybe I'll just put some background music. I'm not even going to do the intro today because it's not a regular show, but I will have some. Let's do a little background music, just for a little ambiance. Real quick, let's say good morning to everyone who's already in the chat. Hello, Maniac Man, who was here first and gets the bell. Also, good morning, Tales of Gore, Sheograth, Gunfox, C. Thomas, Chi-Town J. Sean, Mike Savage, E. Michael, what's happening? Yeah, the walls are closing in. Holy shit. Tales of Gore, to answer your question, I do not have a P.O. box set up. I've thought about that. I appreciate the offer. I'll see what happens. I am not, what's the word? I am not extremely knowledgeable about the sound stuff. Okay, so I do have a thing that I'm eyeing that I know seems simple, and I already have a tutorial for it. But I don't know. Who knows what I'm gonna do about that? But eventually, I'm gonna have something other than this white plastic behind me, and we'll get it figured out. So anyway, this is, by the way, welcome to the new studio and to the special Saturday edition of, well, it's always a Saturday edition. If it's Saturday Night Live, it's Saturday, right? My acoustics way better. Yeah, I have this room set up. First of all, it's in my basement, and there's the nearest wall is way over there. It's in and also the way this is set up, the ceiling catches a lot more of the sound and doesn't send it back. So I figure, yeah, way better than in my dining room. I realize that. And in fact, you should get a green screen. Yeah, no, I have a green screen. I just don't have anything to hang it on. I was going to hang it from the ceiling, and I couldn't find my clips that I used to use when I was doing this out of our guest room. So anyway, good morning, Zombie Teddy, by the way, and good morning, MC. Hammer time. So anyway, and NDI Freighter, how you doing, my dear? How you doing? I was just thinking, my Lady Boomer and I are thinking of going up to Duluth and watching boats leave the Duluth harbor and then go check out some waterfalls up on the North Shore. But we're probably going to wait another few weeks before we go and do that on a weekend. Finally got kicked into the basement. No, I made the choice to go into the basement. One, because I knew the sound would be much better down here. And two, I can set up all my lights and I can set up all this other stuff. Although I don't have the lights on very bright. I used my these aren't actually studio lights. These are just some cans that I bought at Walmart and put some white felt over them and some bright LED bulbs, and they seem to work okay. I probably could use a little more, but I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to make sure that I have a couple LED shop lights that I'm going to put on each side to light my backdrop, so that if I use the green screen, that'll be fairly nice too. So I'm although I'm not completely knowledgeable about this, I think I've learned enough just enough to be dangerous. So Good morning, Jay Wolf. How you doing? So today's show is mostly going to be driven by you guys. I didn't really pull up a bunch of articles. I did have this. Oh, I should probably put a notification out, shouldn't I? Here, let me do that real quick, just to I'll put it just on Twitter, just in case anyone doesn't get the notifications from YouTube. What I'm also going to do is I may open up a window where if y'all want to jump in, or if I might bring some guests in. That's what I'm just saying. So I'll have to open up a StreamYard's window for that. Streaming live now, yay! I don't think I'll put this on Minds and Gab though. I don't think I get anyone coming from those places anyway. Okay, there we go. There's the tweet. If you're on Twitter, retweet that. That would be fantastic. Good morning, Big Assassin 80. Good morning, Tyler F. Donatello Slap-a-Fellow. And let's see. Oh, I already said hi to Gunfox. But Gunfox, I see you. And you're full of knowledge today. I see. And I'm so. National Guard called in. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna go back to Gunfox's chats here. Mass riots in L.A. and Twin Cities live. I tell you what, I'm so frustrated with this shit, man. It's insanity. And part of this, what's interesting is I'm following this on Twitter last night, so I'm seeing a lot of different feeds from a lot of different places. And what we're figuring out is it's not necessarily the protesters that are causing all this shit. At least not the local protesters at most of these places where they're having protests. What seems to be happening is there have been some, how would I describe this? There have been some provocateurs, the agent provocateur type people. It's kind of funny. We're seeing a lot of Antifa type folks come into the protests, and they come in and start spraying a window. It's not the it's generally not the people who are actually there to have their voices heard who are causing all the problems. Oh, by the way, yeah, I saw. I'm going through Gunfox because Gunfox is updating here on things. CNN headquarters broken into and defaced. We saw that. Mexican flag raised over the headquarters. Great. National Guard called in. Armed veterans replaced U.S. flag at CNN headquarters, ripping down the Mexican flag. Is that this morning, Gunfox? Also, the civil unrest declared in Atlanta, which I don't even get it. Atlanta is one of the towns. I was watching some of this coverage from there, and Killer Mike came out and did a speech, and the mayor did a speech, and it's like Atlanta's one of those towns where if this kind of thing happens, the cops are quick to be prosecuted. So I don't know what's going on here. Protesters direct into subdivisions. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Both of my kids live near Minneapolis. Well, live in Minneapolis, but not. My daughter lives kind of away from where this is happening, and I don't think they haven't really headed in towards North Minneapolis, where she lives northeast. But my son lives right in the thick of this shit. Fortunately, he's not staying there right now. The house that he rents is about 4 or 5 blocks off of what's known area called known as Uptown. And I know the riots were going that way because there's a lot of nice shops in Uptown and places, a lot of stuff to grab, smash and grab. There's an Apple store in Uptown. I'm sure that's been destroyed. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. But fortunately, I think he lives far enough off that block that they're not going to fuck with his place. But he's not staying there anyway. He's staying up in northern Minnesota at his girlfriend's parents' cabin during the Corona apocalypse. So, he works remotely from up there during this. He was thinking about coming down and getting some stuff this weekend from his place, and I just don't know, man. This is scary. Let's see. Oh, waiting on coworkers to get up so I can finish my work. By the way, good morning, Scribe Light. Good morning, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Stabbing Joe Scarborough, Mafia Carr. That's an Malia. I'm sorry, Malia Carr. How are you, my friend? I hope are you new here? Out of curiosity, Malia, I have not seen you here before. If you are new, please, if anyone who is new here, hit the subscribe button and click the bell so you get notifications. Also, just for FYI for everybody, please retweet the show if you can. That'd be great. If you're following me on Twitter, Minds or Gab, I'm not active on Minds or Gab. I just have accounts there so that I can put notifications out. But I am active on Twitter, and then we do super chats and things like that through the Streamlabs link down below until I get 1,000 subscribers. Which I'm up above 720 now. That's awesome. I've had about 20 new subscribers in the last week or so, so that's cool. So anyway, so like I said, the purpose today was just to check out how the studio sounds. Apparently it sounds better, according to you guys. The lighting's better because I have lights. I know the lighting's better. And let's see, what else? I don't know. I wish my attitude were better right now. Been a regular listener in the last 2 shows. Okay, thank you. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm Malia. I'm assuming I'm saying that right, Malia Carr. So I'm glad you're here. Good. So, what I'm going to do for now. I'm just going to and WR Costa. Hey, nice to see you. I know you don't get to come into the live show that often lately, so I'm glad you're popping in. So, as when Lady Boomer got home from work yesterday, we own a condo that we're trying to sell right now. So she went down there. It was a place her dad used to live in, and she was telling me that the businesses around the condo were all being boarded up in anticipation of what's been happening. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. Our condo is nowhere near where all the prior action had been taking place in Minneapolis. It's in a suburb. It's a first ring suburb of Minneapolis. And I'm thinking, oh my God, are they really getting concerned that this is going to spread out? And so whoever just said that, yeah, they're looking at spreading out into different developments, it's like, well, why? I don't fucking get it. sorry my expletive early in the show. I know I do that once in a while. I don't know. I'm extremely frustrated. By the way, thank you, Scribe Light, Jay Wolf, Tyler F, and Chicago J for retweeting the show. I appreciate that greatly. And like I said, I may open a window up, and in fact, I'm going to go ahead and maybe I will open a Streamlabs window or StreamYards window right now, and maybe make it so that if someone wants to jump in with me, that'd be great. I'm more than happy to do that. Let's see. Okay, there's that. Your browser, yeah, I know the browser can't access the devices. I don't care about that, but I can unmute. Okay. So anyway, I may open this up to if you guys maybe have guests come in, because like I said, this is completely unplanned. I have no format, but I did want to show you a couple things before I even do that. And maybe just go through some of the Twitter trends, because that's where a lot of this information about this is going to be. Now, as you guys know, CNN, their offices in Atlanta were vandalized. I mean, whatever. Or I don't know if you'll call it attacked, vandalized, whatever. And the police were able to keep them out of there. And it was interesting. There was an interesting change in attitude, or at least an interesting change of description of the protesters / rioters / whatever you want to call them. And I want to put, I need to put them in two different categories, though. I really do, because the more I watch this, like I said, if you're just getting here, the more I watch this, the more I see that there are, I was going to say two, but maybe three distinct groups. Three distinct groups that are part of this phenomenon. Check mail called Make Breaking News. Yeah, well, we'll do that, Gunfox. Thank you. I'll, in fact, let me make sure I have this here. Open up. Okay, thank you, Gunfox. Excuse me. Three distinct groups that are part of this phenomenon. The first group are the people who genuinely are coming out to protest. The people who are genuinely coming out to protest the killing of George Floyd, and their bigger picture is killing the protest of the killing of black men by police, which is one of those things that while it happens, the phenomenon is still extremely rare. But the reason it does not seem extremely rare is because we've made it common through reporting, meaning every single incident that involves usually a black man, especially, and there have been a couple horrific incidents that people see, but I'll tell you what, every time something happens, do you ever notice that you hear the same names over and over again? Not because you hear them over and over again, right? Something like this happens, and you hear Mike Brown, you hear Trayvon Martin, you hear what's the kid in Cleveland that got shot by the cops with the toy gun? I'm gonna blank out on names because I'm not thinking straight right now. Tamir Rice, Sandra Bland. We all know the names that you hear over and over and over. But every time something happens, and even if sometimes when it's justified, it could be a shootout where a purpose shooting at cops. And yeah, I see the breaking news in the chat. Apparently, important police officer has been shot and killed. God damn. Portland is fucked up. It's a bunch of white kids going around smashing stores and shit. It's a very large Antifa contingent. Oh my god. Anyway, God, where was I? I'm going all over the place right now. There have been, but we know every single incident of when if in particular when it's a police officer or especially a white cop, because you never see, I've never seen it in the news yet, where if there's an officer involved shooting, if the victim is not black, I've never heard them name the race of the victim. And I've never heard, and I rarely if the officer is not white, well, I will not hear the race of the officer. So every time there's an incident, when this happens, you read in the paper, black man, usually, and they'll bring unarmed black man shot by white police officer, or unarmed black man shot by white man. But it's never in the reverse. I mean, you rarely do you see the race. It's kind of like with when a politician is caught doing something illegal, and you'll always know the affiliation of that politician within the first sentence of the article, because if it's a Republican, they will say Republican Senator John Smith was killing babies. So you'll always know if it's a Republican. And if the sentence says Congressman caught stealing the grandma's retirement fund, you always know it's a Democrat, because they didn't name the name of the politician. They didn't name the affiliation. Well, it's a lot like that when you hear these, because I see news articles all the time because I look for them. We've talked about these, and not that they should not be talked about, but we always we talk about these same incidents over and over and over, and so there's a perception that this is a normal thing, that people are out, there's police officers out in the street hunting down black men. Did you know that last week, I think there were 4 cases, the same week that this last month, same month that George Floyd was killed by this officer, who should go to jail for murder. And I'm still wondering when they're going to charge the other 3 officers, particularly the other 2 that were holding him down, and even the 4th officer who were just standing there. They all need to be charged, by the way. I believe that in fact. But anyway, I'm going back and forth. I can't. I'm sorry, guys. I'm flustered right now. Anyway, we know these cases because we talk about them all the time. But during the last month, the same month that George Floyd was killed, do you know the names of the 3 the 3 white guys who were killed by police officers that were unarmed? Do you know their names? I know they're there. I don't know their names. I was looking through this thing. Seeing who, because there's a whole website called Killed by Cops. Do you know anyone else's name who's killed by a police officer in the last month? And it's weird because it doesn't happen with Hispanic either. I think, for the news cycle, for the news, for the news industry, we know the news industry thrives on chaos. Okay, the news industry thrives in chaos, so they are constantly pushing this and constantly amplifying anytime this happens. And there have been cases where they've amplified it, and then they find out, the guy was shooting at him. Then they stop talking about it because, no, we don't want to talk about the justified shootings. We don't want to talk about all this other stuff. But we're going to talk about, it's in Oakland? Okay, thank you, Gun Fox. But boy, they love to talk about it when a white cop kills a black man, and they'll put that on the news every hour for 3 days over their 24-hour cycle. And you hear it over and over and over again. You're thinking, oh my God, they're out there trying to kill us. No, they're not. Do you know how rare this is as far as police encounters? But it's still, and I'm not justifying it. It's wrong, and we should be aware. We should be talking about police brutality. Sure, we should be talking about police brutality, but they're doing it to get a reaction. The news media, amplifies it over and over and over again. Anyway, let's get back to what I was trying to say before I went on this rant. So, the three factions, three distinct factions of these people who are part of this entire phenomenon. There's the actual protesters who are out there, just wanting justice, wanting to make their voices heard, wanting to, tell America, hey, we want you to see this problem from our perspective. And I think, honestly, although I have my problems with the official Black Lives Matter movement, the message is sound. I wish it would expand. Now, again, people in local areas do have activism about violence in local areas, but the Black Lives Matter movement is specifically focused on something that's almost a man bites dog thing, and I wish they would expand their focus to, everybody who's doing violence against black men or whoever. Again, it's the number one cause of death of black men, ages 15 to 45, is homicide. Now, homicide by officer is a tiny subset of that. How about it? I wanted them to expand out into that category, and maybe see if we can get the rest of that to come down too. But that's a whole nother topic. The second group that I see part of this big picture, the second group, are, and I'm seeing this just about everywhere, and I don't mean this in a racial sense, but I mean this in a, well, I'm not, because I was going to say white kids who think they're helping. And I'm seeing this everywhere I look. And I shouldn't say white kids, I should say Antifa type people who think they're helping, but they're not. I've seen this everywhere, where there's this group of people who are out there to genuinely want their voices heard, and they just want to, they want to do something and be able to talk to other people and have speeches and tell people that they want this to stop. And then there's this group of outsiders that come in and start breaking shit and start, because the Antifa's whole thing, kind of like when this has been going on since the World Trade Organization came to Seattle, where they riot and break shit, and they want to cause mayhem, they want to hurt people, they want to steal shit, they want to cause chaos, and the people who are there to just protest, I've seen this in so many cases on Twitter. The people who just came there to protest are like, no, we don't want this. Why are you doing this? You are not helping us right now. And I'm telling you, the people who, because who's getting blamed for it? Well, the protesters are getting blamed for these assholes who are coming out here and breaking shit and stealing shit. And a lot of them are just breaking shit to break shit. And then you have the third group. There might be a fourth, but the third group is just the opportunists. Maybe people who have been tired of this fucking lockdown bullshit that we've been stuck in since March. Okay, we're going into almost, just over 2 months now. And I think there's some people out there just like, you know what? I'm just gonna take my chances and go get some free shit. I'm not here to protest. I just came down here to see what's going on. But hey, those guys are breaking that place up. Let's go get some free shit, because nobody's stopping us now, because the mayors are afraid to have the police out there. Although they are out there, and apparently one of them's gotten shot in one city. But they're just the people who are opportunists. They're not, They may have come there because they were curious, or they may have come there because they know some of these other assholes are coming to break shit, and I was like, go get some free shit while I'm here, right? Let's go loot Target. Let's go. Hey, they broke it. Everyone else is going here. No one's gonna stop. They can't catch all of us. Or there might be even people in need. They just might be struggling, and they're like, you know what? God damn, I can't believe this is happening, but I'm gonna go ahead and get what I can. But the actual protesters, and a lot of that is the black community in these areas, they don't want that to happen. You're seeing the leaders of the protesters saying, no, don't do this, because guess who gets blamed? Even though it's the Antifa assholes who are out there doing it, the protesters all get wrapped up into that category. And I don't know. By the way, good. Hello, Kyra Alexander, Big Assassin, formerly Rod Line, Cindy Rochelle, how you doing? CNN Sucks, how you doing? I'm glad you're all here. All right, so no excuse for challenging a cop. Anyway, you have death wish. If you do, they are murder, kidnapping. We have our first super chat of the day from CNN Sucks. Thank you, sir. Did you see the speech by Killer Mike? Welcome to the fight. You've been trying to start since 2016. You can control the mob when they come for you. You can't control the mob when they come for you. I mean, maybe that's what I meant. You for too long sided with Antifa and Marxists who want to see the country burn. MSM, you've been warned. Yeah, CNN is getting a taste of what they've sowed. Real quick, I'm gonna thank you, Gunfox. I got an article here Gunfox sent me. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the screen. Let me get it so you can see it better. There we go. Cop is shot dead in California as George Floyd fury sweeps the U.S. Donald Trump's put army on notice to deploy to streets for the first time since 1992 L.A. riots, as 19-year-old Detroit protester fatally shot, and Minneapolis erupts for the fourth night. Some highlights of this: soldiers in North Carolina and New York must be ready to move into Minneapolis within 4 hours. It's the first time powers have been invoked since LA 1992 riots over beating of Rodney King by officers. Violent protests demanding justice for George Floyd spread across the U.S. last night, including Detroit. Man 19 shot dead in Detroit by suspects who pulled up in a vehicle. Police were not involved in the shooting. Looting breaks out in Minneapolis as protesters defy curfew and the National Guard fails to keep control. CNN headquarters in Atlanta are under siege, and protesters throw smoke bombs at police defending it. Protesters surrounded a police precinct in Brooklyn where NYPD officer throws a woman to the ground. He pushed her to the ground, but whatever. White House in Washington forced to go into temporary lockdown as demonstrators tried to scale the walls. Now, see, here's one of those examples. Every time. Is there anyone on the planet right now that doesn't know that George Floyd was a black man? Is there anyone on the planet who doesn't already know that? But in this article, the last highlight here, black man George Floyd was handcuffed and pleaded for air as officer pressed knee on neck in Minneapolis. Now, I'm surprised they didn't put white officer because they usually do that. That's the kind of thing. Yes, we all know he's a black man and we all know he's a white officer. And I'm going to tell you, every time you say that, you fan a little flame in somebody's head. Good morning, hey Larry, what's happening? Good morning, Becca Farley. How you doing, dear? Oh my God. Anyway, 2 Federal Protective Service officers were shot, one fatally during Friday night protests in Oakland, California, as violent protests across the U.S. intensified over the killing of George Floyd. At least 7,500 demonstrators took to the streets in Oakland last night, clashing with police and sparking arson attacks and vandalism across the city. During the skirmish, 2 officers with the Federal Protective Service, a part of Homeland Security created to protect government facilities, were shot. Police are investigating. Meanwhile, a 19-year-old protester was shot dead in Detroit last night, while soldiers in North Carolina and New York were ordered to be ready to move within 4 hours, and troops in Colorado and Kansas within 24 hours. Police said the man was killed after shots were fired at a crowd of people near Detroit's Greektown Entertainment District last night, with dozens of protesters out on the streets, but officers were not involved in the shooting. The suspect pulled up to the crowd in a Dodge Durango and fired shots at around 11:30 p.m., and the man was pronounced dead in the hospital. No details about who fired the shots were immediately available, police said. Crowds took to the streets in the city after the former officer Derek Chauvin was charged with murder over the death of Floyd, a black man, as if we didn't know, who was handcuffed and pleaded for air as officers pressed a knee in his neck. So it's pictures here. Just here, I'll put this full screen so you can see the photos a little easier. This is the apartment complex they set a fire to. They were building some new low-income housing in that area. 148 units or 158 units or something like that burned to the ground. Great job, fuckheads. Yes, let's just destroy now. And also, here's the other thing. Living in the Twin Cities, I get a little extra special news. Apparently, in one area, 5 different grocery stores were looted. And so now, because I know when my daughter called me yesterday, she lives away from this, but she was saying, she was asking if we were home because she wanted to come down to see if any of the stores near our house were open, because the nearest store to her house were not. They were all being boarded up because all the stores in the area of the protest had all been destroyed or whatever. And so she was trying to figure out where she and her I don't know what to call them because they're not officially engaged, but I'll just say her fiance were looking to go buy some food, and there was no place to go, so they eventually went farther north and went to a suburb out there. But let's see, this is okay, and there's another shot of policemen walk enveloped by tear gas in Portland, Oregon yesterday as violence escalated in the downtown area. Portland's always an issue. There's a huge Antifa contingent there that's supported by the mayor, and we'll get to the mayor of Portland a little bit later, but oh my god, he's talking about reap what you sow. But the mayor of Portland will find a way to blame this on President Trump, I'm sure. Well, there's already people doing that. I'm finding that fucking hilarious too, as if this didn't happen during the Obama administration. No, not a single one. Oh, wait a minute. All those names I named earlier of people who were killed by police officers, oh yeah, those all happened during the Obama administration. I forgot. Just silly fucking me. I don't know. Anyway. By the way, I see Woodcut is here. Good morning, BG. What's happening? Also, good morning, Selecta Boy. Yeah, boy. All right. In Detroit last night, officers, many in riot gear, confronted the protesters in the Michigan City and formed lines across streets. Dozens of arrests were made. Police said many were not Detroit residents. Again, it's these people are coming from other places. There's a confrontation in Minneapolis the other day or yesterday. It was on Twitter. And the officers arrested this guy who's fucking with him and finally takes him to the ground, and his wallet falls out of his pocket. He picks up the wallet. North Dakota driver's license. Okay, just coming from everywhere. Anyway, by midnight, this is Detroit, by midnight the crowd had thinned considerably as police shot canisters of gas towards the protesters. The demonstrations began earlier in the day and was peaceful as protesters marched to police headquarters. And that is a fact. It was peaceful until these outside assholes come in and decide, oh, we're going to break some shit. It makes you, I saw the word conspiracy theory in the chat. Yeah, there's all kinds of conspiracy theories. Like the dude with the umbrella in Minneapolis that came and broke the the AutoZone windows with a hammer. And he was all in gas mask and wore it all in black and an umbrella. And the people who were there to protest were like, "What are you doing? You're not with us." They think he was a cop, or maybe it's the FBI getting back at Trump. You know, anyway, I had to go there. We know that the individuals from outside the city of Detroit who converged at the protest location don't represent this city. Police Chief James Craig said the number of arrests and injuries is not yet available. The move to put the Army on short-term notice comes after President Donald Trump asked Defense Secretary Mark Esper for military options in tackling the escalating civil unrest spreading across America, according to sources. Overnight, Trump also commented on a tweet by former Democrat for Trump. I don't know what that means. About how Minneapolis was ruled by Democrats, saying, "Time for a change, 2020, which was retweeted more than 25,000 times. It comes as violent protests demanding justice for Floyd spread across the U.S. last night, with the CNN headquarters under siege in Atlanta, New York police officers fending off rioters from a police precinct in Brooklyn, and the White House forced to go into lockdown as demonstrators tried to scale the walls. Looting and fire broke out again in Minneapolis as protesters defied the state curfew, and the National Guard failed to keep the city under control." Yeah, the National Walls had them back off. I don't know why. Anyway, here it gets good. The protests have now reached all corners of America, with break-off demonstrations springing up across states, including New York, Kentucky, Texas, Georgia, as the arrest of the white cop who knelt on Floyd's neck has done little to quell the anger over the black man's death. Chaos. Every time they do that, you know what? They don't have to say it every time, but they do it because it's the narrative. You'll never see this. You will never, ever, ever have the race of the officer or the person the officer is affected unless it's a black man and a white cop. You will never see it. You'll never ever see it. And in fact, you'll never see the race if it's a black cop either, because I've watched cases like this in the past too, where officer kills black man. Trying to make a race angle out of it, and then you find out, oh, the officer who shot him was black too. That you didn't mention that part. You never do you? Anyway, chaos exploded in Atlanta as demonstrators stormed and destroyed the CNN headquarters and fired smoke bomb at cops trying to form a barrier to keep them out. In New York City, shocking footage showed NYPD officer hurling a female protester to the ground in Brooklyn while officers defended a police precinct amid fears it would be torched. Now, so I've seen this footage, and what happened, I'll probably find it on Twitter. The woman was running at the officer, at least that's what I could see, and the officer pushed her away. Now, she fell very violently. She must have caught her foot or something, and she might even hit her head on the ground, so it looks super violent. But I don't know why she thought that was a good idea to confront the officer at that time. Now, you don't want him to hurt her, but he has in a situation like this, where you have no idea what people are coming at you with, especially at night in the dark. All your only light is the fire, the fire that's burning behind you, and then you see someone coming at you. You don't have time to know if it's a woman or a man or what, but if he's coming at you, you don't know if she has a knife, a pop bottle, a brick. You don't know. So you get them away from you, and he did. Hurling a female protester to the ground. Okay, whatever. And you know what? They're hurling people to the ground when they arrest them too. I don't know if that's. I can't make a judgment on what the police officers are doing right now, because remember, they're supposed to be taking care of this for a living, and it's a dangerous job. I don't know what... people get mad. Oh, they're arresting this guy. They're throwing him to the ground and doing this and that. I don't know what you're supposed to do with him. I wish I had an answer for that. I don't. In New York. Shocking footage. I'm going to read that sentence again. In New York. Shocking footage showed an NYPD officer hurling a female protester to the ground in Brooklyn while officers defended a police precinct amid fears it would be torched. All right, we already talked about the White House. The White House is forced to go into temporary lockdown as protesters try to scale the walls, battle with Secret Service agents, and burn the American flags outside the executive residence. You know what? That is amazing. I wish I had my Jesse Lita Peterson soundbite. Amazing. That may be the last place on the planet you want to try to scale the walls and breach. And apparently some people did breach and they arrest them quickly. And Trump talked about that. Oh, bye, D.I. Freighter. All right. We will see you. Well, you'll hear me. I just won't see you typing. Okay. But the White House has some pretty highly trained snipers on the roof. They got all kinds of little things for your ass if you get into the White House. Anyway, so there's another. This is a check cashing business burns to the ground during Friday protests as the Pentagon puts military police on alert to send to this ravaged city. Yeah, I'm not even going to go down to Minneapolis for a while. In Oakland, protesters smashed the windows of a Chase Bank during a protest in Oakland yesterday. Detroit, police detained and arrested a protester during a series of confrontations in the city last night. Los Angeles, protesters light a fire in the middle of the street during a protest in downtown Los Angeles. Atlantis, the CNN headquarters, bore some of the brunt of the outrage as demonstrators vandalized the media firm's logo, scrawled profanities on the building, and smashed up its windows. This came hours after a black CNN reporter, Omar Jimenez, was arrested was live on the air Friday morning by Minnesota State Patrol while covering the Minneapolis protests. In Brooklyn, New York, burning police vehicle near the Barkley Center in Brooklyn borough. In Brooklyn, also, thousands of cops took to the street of Brooklyn in violent clashes with protesters. In Washington, the U.S. Secret Service formed a line outside the White House as protesters attempt to breach the barricade. You've lost your damn mind now. Sorry, if you think you're going to do that, you don't think the military is going to come in and fix that situation right quick. And I don't care who the president of the United States is at any given time as far as this goes. I don't care if it's a president I can't stand. Don't care if it's my favorite president of all time. You do not breach the White House, and you don't attack the public servants physically. You're going to get shot if you try to do that. I'm sorry. That's what's going to happen. Also, DC, the White House was forced to go into temporary lockdown as protesters tried to scale the walls, battles with Secret Service agents, and burn American flags outside the seat of the government. Oh my God! And then they're still showing. They've got some video too. So this is just continuing the story. It's also frustrating. Someone's going to get killed outside the White House. Probably. And then they'll go, oh, this is Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. Let's see here. Becca, by the way, thank you also for tweeting out the show. You know, I always appreciate that. Reminder, this channel, I don't do sponsors, but I do accept the love and help from the people who watch the show. If you'd be so kind, whenever you see the show come on. And by the way, if you're not normally here, I'm normally here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 1500 GMT. My show, The Morning Night Live, airs at that time on a Monday through Friday basis. Please make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, share this show out. That's the biggest one right now. I got trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before July so we can take the show on the road. And then also, just like C. Thomas just did, you can do super chats through the Streamlabs link. It's right there in the chat. This show is sponsored by viewers like you. Support the show with your donations and have your super chats read live on the show. Click that link right there that says pdognight.live. Speaking of which, C. Thomas has been so kind to do that. C. Thomas with the $2 super chat. Thank you. I regret looking on Facebook because too many people are virtue circle jerking each other's in defense of the riots by either autistically quoting MLK or going, "What about the Boston Tea Party, though?" as if they're saying these people don't know better. Yeah, I'm the the whole Boston Tea Party thing. People are bringing up over and over. Thank you, C. Thomas, by the way. The Boston Tea Party analogy. Someone did do a thread about it that I looked at. I'm reading it. I'm like, this sounds familiar. Something in Boston. And it's the Boston Tea Party. That's not what this is. That's not what this is at all. This is for some people, like I said, there's three groups. Some people genuinely are protesting the killing of George Floyd, and because we have this belief in the United States that this is something that occurs on a regular basis, that it's extremely common, they're genuinely protesting something that they believe. Now, I'm just saying, it's those people who are protesting, I have the utmost respect for. I don't agree with everything they say, but some of the things they say are important to hear. And, and then there's this group, again, the white suburban kids, I'll call them, even though it's Antifa. There's black people in Antifa too, but it's dumb kids who out there destroying things, calling everybody a fascist, breaking windows, stealing shit, and just wreaking havoc that the real protesters do not want. The real protesters are there genuinely to be heard. And then again, you have there's the opportunists, the people who, think they're gonna go out and have some fun and go steal some shit and whatever. And some of them may, and part of that opportunist group certainly probably includes people who are hurting because of the bullshit we've had to go through with this coronavirus thing. And I say bullshit in that, not all of it was necessary, although I personally believe not all of the way we handle it was necessary. But they're hurting. There's people who are hurting, who take this opportunity to go get some shit, maybe get some food, maybe steal some stuff out of the grocery store. It sucks. I don't, if it's a desperate person who's doing that in the midst of all this, while I don't agree with it, I don't necessarily, I can understand it. But these fuckers who are coming out here and wreaking havoc, the ones who are out here that just came to break shit, they think they're revolutionaries. They think this is the revolution. This is finally it. This is gonna get everybody on our side. Those fuckers are desecrating the memory of George Floyd. People, I keep hearing, if you're mad about the protesters, but you're not mad about the police murdering a black man in the streets. Well, my answer to that is you generally react to what you can see. And unfortunately, the people who are there to actually protest, who want to help more people see, have been completely overshadowed by that building right over there that's burning down. because right now the building that's burning down is awful close to where I'm standing, and I can feel the heat off that building. So if I'm gonna be pissed off at whoever set the fire to that building right now, because that's what my most immediate concern is, and that's what I can see right now. I don't see George Floyd anymore. In fact, I can't even remember the image of George Floyd, because all I see right now is the burning building that's about to come and burn my house down too. Or when I try to go buy some food and I have to go to 5 different stores because the first 4 I went to are destroyed. Or if I need to go get my prescription and the Walgreens is burned down. What am I going to remember? George Floyd, or the fact that I can't get my prescription for whatever it is I need that helps keep me alive? Which one am I going to see? Which one am I remember? I remember George Floyd got killed, and that's bullshit, and hopefully that officer gets killed. But you know what I'm going to be talking about? I'm going to be talking about what's right in front of me. And you assholes put this right in front of me. Not you, my audience, obviously. So, and then, okay, so there's still people talking about Trump and Twitter. I don't care about Trump and Twitter right now. I'm pretty sure you probably saw this. Oh, this is an article from National Review. Does that fit on the screen? Yeah, it does. Why do I have to play by somebody's rules if there's no justice? MSNBC anchor empathizes with rioters, looters on hot mic. Did I just say hopefully the officer gets killed? No. I'm not sure who you're talking to there. MSNBC anchor covering the George Floyd protests in Minneapolis appeared to sympathize with the lawless display in a conversation with a Black Lives Matter activist captured on hot mic. MSNBC's Ali Veshi provided live coverage to the network throughout the protests on Thursday night, with a concurrent live stream posted on YouTube. During a moment when Veshi was off camera, he can be heard on a hot mic captured in the YouTube stream discussing the night's events with Jamal Green, a Black Lives Matter activist and former Chicago mayoral candidate, who approached Veshi and introduced himself as someone helping lead the protest. Now, I'm going to assume that Jamal Green probably wasn't part of the faction that's burning down shit. So I'm going to take some of this, I may take this with a grain of salt. I don't know. Probably not, though. Probably, and some of these activists probably aren't out here. I should say something about the cop. However, I'm sure you misspoke. Oh, did I? What did I say? Oh, about the officer who killed the man. No, I just said he should be prosecuted. That's what I meant. I don't know what maybe I made a mistake there. Misspoke. I'm sure I did, because I'm not talking about killing the cop. Whatever. Let's see. Hi, Amy in Connecticut. Let's see. Those come in. Anyway, all right. So then, let's see. Is this in here? Is this it? Hang on a second. Let's see if this is it. Oh no, that's not it. Hang on. Green and Veshi's conversation, captured nearly 2 hours and 14 minutes into the live stream, shows Veshi agreeing with Green's assessment of the rioting. Quote, people are angry and the reaction. You can't be mad at them for it. Green said, to which Veshi responded, yeah, because what does justice look like? Well, this ain't it. Anyway, why do I have to play by somebody else's rules if there's no justice? I hear you. I never want to see this, but that struck That struck different, man. She continued. I've been a reporter for 30 years almost, and people used to tell me these stories don't really happen. People don't shoot people who aren't armed. People don't kill people who aren't doing anything. No one's ever told you that, Beshi. I've been around the block for a very long time, too. No one tells you that. It happens. We know it happens, but it certainly doesn't happen with the frequency that you would like us to believe it does. And you know what? Yes, there have been miscarriages of justice in the past, but there have also been justice in the past. But anyway, people don't kill people who aren't just doing anything. Then all of a sudden cameras showed up. How many have we seen in 1 week? That woman in Central Park, Ahmaud Arbery. The question is, what changes? What does it change? Does this get anywhere, or do people just let it burn? Green has been active on Twitter since the rioting began and appeared on NBC's Chicago affiliate Friday morning to comment on the protests, saying, unfortunately, the only time people want to pay attention is when folks are burning things down. Bullshit. We had a moment. We had a moment there where everyone was saying the same thing. We had a moment. Video came out, made his way across social media, and I watched social media when that came out, because I saw it almost right after we heard about it, right after the video came out. Didn't watch the video, but I know what was in it because people were talking about it. I didn't watch the video until later, and it was just as bad as everyone said. And for, let's say, 12 hours, 18 hours, the only thing I heard was, wow, that's fucked up. Wow. There's no reason that should have happened. Wow. That officer just killed that man. Wow. That other officer just stood there and didn't do anything. Wow. This guy's been on his neck for a long time. Wow. He needs to be prosecuted. That was nearly unanimous. I don't know why this ad came up. It was nearly unanimous. And everyone was saying the same thing. And in fact, the very next day, when those 4 officers got fired, I don't believe I saw one person who said those officers shouldn't have been fired. And then by that night, shit's burning. Before they had any time. Now look, some people were like, oh, well, why did they arrest him right away? Well, and then the county attorney, Mike Freeman, said some stupid shit that he had to clarify, talking about, oh, well, we don't know if there's any evidence that, there might be some contradicting evidence, blah, 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 blah. And then they had to clarify that. But I didn't see anyone who said that those officers should have been fired. And you know what? When you're going to charge somebody in a case like this, you got to get it right. You got to know what you are going to charge with. It takes them a case where it's a police officer, in a case like this, even if it seems like, ooh, that looks cut and dry. Got to be careful of how you charge a police officer in this case, so that they don't, if they want to get the charge right. And so then they finally arrested that officer. But we had that moment, and you had everyone's attention. His statement here, Unfortunately, the only time people want to pay attention is when folks are burning things down. No, everyone was already paying attention. Everybody was watching this. Everybody was waiting to see, would they fire the officer? Would they fire all the officers? Would he be charged? Well, the very next day, they fired the officers. Was that too late? I mean, maybe it's because we're in the internet age. We're in the microwave age where everything happens so fast. It's got to happen now. If we see it, boy, it better happen now. And granted, I know the Ahmaud Arbery thing had people very divergent views on that. But for the most part, regardless of here's my take on Ahmaud Arbery. Let's take the scenario that is the most, seems to me at least the most common in some circles, in that Ahmaud Arbery was in this house and maybe encased in the joint or whatever, but he ran away. The two men that chased him, even if they sincerely were on the case of doing a citizen's arrest, and the Arbery went and attacked a man with a shotgun, which is not a good idea. Okay, if someone has a shotgun, I'm gonna grant it. We're in Georgia, where a black man sees someone pointing a shotgun at him, you have a little bit different feeling about it than you would if you were a white man in North Dakota with some guy pointing a shotgun at you. But once he attacked that man, that first shot could be considered self-defense. The second and third shot, when you have a responsibility, if you're making a citizen's arrest, you are responsible for what happens with your weapon, just like a police officer. The first shot, sure, self-defense. The second and third shot, now you have a serious problem. Okay, that's where the two men, I don't even know their names. I can't remember. Michaels, is that their name? That's where their problem is. The second and third shot. The first shot, Arbery grabs a weapon. Yes, self-defense. Second and third shot. Son? That's not supposed to happen in a citizen arrest. People aren't supposed to be dead after a citizen's arrest. You have the same responsibilities to keep a suspect alive, which is also what this officer failed to do. But nobody disagreed with that. The eyes of the nation were waiting to see what would happen. Why, and they were fired the next day. Now the one has been charged. But is it too late? Now, granted, yes, in a normal citizen's case, if it was just, let's say it was just, Johnny Lunchbucket, and someone videoed Johnny Lunchbucket doing that to George Floyd. Well, Johnny Lunchbucket would have been taken into custody and probably already been arrested and all that. Yes, we know that. But you gotta look at the situation as far as how you charge a police officer who is on the job arresting a suspect who dies in custody. Now, it may take a bit longer because you gotta figure out, you gotta be really careful. If you're going to prosecute a case like this, you got to make sure you have the right charge. You got to make sure you have the right evidence. You got to make sure, because and I don't think there's any doubt that this guy caused the death of George Floyd, but because officers sometimes get off on this kind of stuff, and I mean as in get out of trouble, not get. Although some officers probably do get off on this kind of stuff. You gotta have the right charge before you can go to court with it. Because if you are going to prosecute this, then you need it to stick. And if you give the wrong charge, they will be. They'll be let go. I don't know why this officer. I don't know why this officer's still on the job anyway. Oh, by the way, put a 1 in the chat if you think Amy Klobuchar's career is over. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll explain it hopefully sometime soon. Oh my gosh. And they were vetting her to be the vice president's candidate. Well, we know that's over. I got a feeling Amy Klobuchar's career is over. In fact, if I were the governor of Minnesota, I would be putting some protection around her house right now, her home, her family. Now, because just these assholes, some of these assholes will come after her too. BG, if Trump was prone to becoming a tyrant, they're giving him the perfect excuse to do so. This lasts too much more. He's going to have more and more people backing him just to do it. I was only 4 years old in 1968, but this is reminiscent of just the fucking upheaval of the 68, 69, Kent State and all the protests and Watts and protests in Los Angeles and the entire town of Watts going up in flames, and Chicago going up in flames, Detroit going up in flames. And I don't even know if it's, is it because these kids read about the revolution in school, the 60s revolution? Do they think they're that? Do they have any idea? The opportunity? There's the day compared to then? Oh, fuck. So anyway, let's see if we can see this asshole. Oh, this was kind of funny though. I showed this yesterday, but I still think it's funny. Let's see if it'll play.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not generally speaking unruly. The fires have been started, and there's a crowd that is.
If you didn't hear that, I'm gonna play it again just because I love it. It's funny as hell.
I want to be clear in how I characterize.
Look, what's this behind you, dude?
Mostly a protest.
Dude,
turn around. It is not generally speaking unruly.
Turn around, asshole.
Started, and
turn around. Oh my god. Oh, FTG. All right. Thank you, Gunfox, by the way, for that. That's a great, or the other article. This was the one I did before, or this one I did after. Gunfox, thank you for the article from the prior one. We'll go into Twitter a little bit, and then I'm going to call it a day. CNN, worst form of hackery. Holy shit. Yeah, that was the dumbest spot to pick do that segment. Thank you, Cindy. So let's do this. I'm just gonna go through some of the fucketry on Twitter. Now it's interesting. Antifa is trending. Oh, here's the header on the Explore tab. Minnesota governor authorizes full mobilization of the state's National Guard. Hello, Irish Rose. People gathered in cities across the U.S. On Friday, as protests over George Floyd's death continued for a fourth night. Floyd died after he was pinned to the ground by Minneapolis police officers. One of the officers, Derek Chauvin, was charged with third-degree murder and manslaughter on Friday. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz said, "I urge peace at that time." Here's our governor. If you didn't already know that, I live here in Minnesota.
So in consultation as a group and as we set this morning, I'm authorizing and talking to General Jensen to fully mobilize the Minnesota National Guard, an action that has never been taken in the 164-year history of the Minnesota National Guard. We will pull in assets as we have been doing. And for those Minnesotans who are wondering, where are the fire trucks? Where are the police that are out there? The situation was so broad and the tactics were so bent on causing destruction that every single person we had mobilized, again, the largest in state history last evening, was engaged in that.
Yeah, it's fucked up, man. Here, I'm going to pause this one as soon as it comes on. So Governor Tim Walz is fully mobilizing the State National Guard for the first time in Minnesota history. St. Paul mayor says every person arrested on Friday was from out of state. Shocker. Georgia governor calls for National Guard amid escalating protests in Atlanta. Secret Service and protesters clashed outside the White House. Demonstrations took place in several U.S. cities. New York Times tweeted, "This is what protests in Minneapolis look like on Friday, the fourth night of escalating unrest." I'm not going to watch the full video. We've seen it over and over again. We saw Tim Walz's speech. Waltz says other states will be providing significant support to this mobilization. He's drawing a sharp distinction between protesters and what increasingly appears to be domestic terrorists bent on destruction and chaos. Good. I'm glad they recognize that. What's up, Chief Fuzzy Beard? How you doing? Patricia Lopez. I don't know who that is. Okay. She has been saying some stupid damn shit. Waltz, other state. Okay, that's her. Okay, Waltz suggests about 20% of those rioting are local and 80% are from out of town. He says they'll be releasing names and background information on arrestees. Again, they're just people out to cause shit. Mayor Carter says that he's been told every person arrested in St. Paul last night was from out of state. Here's his statement.
In St. Paul last night, and across our twin cities, a curfew went into effect. Because we had a relative stillness in St. Paul, we didn't make an enormous number of arrests, but every single person we arrested last night, I'm told, was from out of state.
Yeah.
In St. Paul last night, and across our twin cities, a curfew went into effect.
Okay, so that's just him saying the same thing.
Because we had a relative still.
Sorry there. Here's something else he said. Here's the 2 minutes. We'll listen to Melvin Carter here.
There are many, many ways for us to work together in a constructive manner that build our communities, that empowers our communities to speak up with a loud voice. The world is listening. There are opportunities for us to do that in a constructive manner. Unfortunately, there are also those among us who would seek to use this moment, who would seek to use his death as an excuse, as a cover, to agitate for the destruction of those same communities that have been most traumatized by George Floyd's death.
You know, and so now that's another thing. So now they're figured out, oh, well, we're destroying the communities of where these people live. Oh, well, let's go fuck up the suburbs now. So now they're starting to fan out to other areas. I'm not happy about that. I'm in a third ring suburb of the Twin Cities, but I don't know. We were wondering whether our stores would be open last night, which they were, but whatever.
Same communities that have been most traumatized by the dual crisis of a COVID-19 pandemic and an economic crisis that we're facing right now, those same communities are being re-traumatized right now. As our black-owned barbershops, as our immigrant-owned restaurants, as our local, generational, family-owned businesses are damaged and destroyed night after night. This must stop. I know the governor, I know Mayor Fry, myself, wholeheartedly support the right of people to protest, the right of free speech, for people to say what they believe about the world, to speak up and say and participate in making this world a better place. That right to speak,
the interpreter is very, very
at
expressive.
destruction of lives, destruction of property, destruction of livelihood.
You know, you know, I don't mean to laugh, but who's the dude from Portlandia? The guy who used to be on Saturday Night Live. The interpreter there reminds me of something he would do as a funny Saturday Night Live skit of someone being the interpreter, like overly expressive and just going too far. But anyway, Mayor Floyd's got it right. Why are we fucking up shit? You're not helping anything. You know, it's just embarrassing. Holy shit. Let's see. Walls already did that. We already did that. Now here's Mayor Jacob Fry. This dude's he's just a piece of work, but let's listen to him too.
And rightfully so. We've seen...
And so he comes in wearing a mask and now he's taking it off. Nobody cares about your mask.
Thank you, Governor. The show of force tonight has got to be about safety, security, peace, and order. Our Minneapolis residents are scared, and rightfully so.
This is the dipshit that basically gave up the 3rd precinct thinking that would help. Yeah, way to go. Way to go. Way to go, Mayor Fry.
We've seen long-term institutional businesses overridden. We've seen community institutions set on fire. And I want to be very, very clear. The people that are doing this are not Minneapolis residents. They are coming in largely from outside of the city, from outside of the region to prey on everything that we have built over the last several decades. The dynamic has changed over the last several days. If you looked at Tuesday, it was largely peaceful protest.
Yep,
The vast majority
that is
peaceful,
true.
The vast majority of people from our city.
That's true. But by the evening, then it turned into shit. Now, I'm guessing the out-of-towners. Some was out-of-towners, maybe, but again, there's plenty of. I don't want to put it all in Antifa, but yeah, I will. There's a lot of Antifa types that are in the Twin Cities too.
With a small group of people looking to have intentional disturbance. Gradually, that shift was made, and we saw more and more people coming from outside of the city. We saw more and more people looking to cause violence in our communities, and I have to say, it is not acceptable.
Wait a minute, I didn't watch. Now I'm gonna do this and only watch. I'm only gonna watch the interpreter now. I was watching him, but now I'm gonna watch her. She's so expressive. But I swear, what's the guy's name from Portlandia? Did someone tell me that? He's the comedian, and he was on Saturday Night Live. Anyway, I'm gonna watch her now.
Thank you, Governor. The show of force tonight has got to be about safety, security, peace, and order. Our Minneapolis residents are scared, and rightfully so. We've seen long-term institutional businesses overridden. We've seen community institutions set on fire. And I want to be very, very clear. The people that are doing this are not Minneapolis residents.
I don't know if that's really
They are
sign
coming
language.
in largely from outside of the city, from outside of the region to prey on everything that we have built over the last several
Okay,
decades.
I can't do it anymore.
The dynamic is
Because I don't want to laugh at this situation, but she's hilarious. Anyway, all right, let's go into regular trends. I'm sure there'll be plenty about this now. I know two things that I saw trending on the Explore tab. One was Antifa, and I don't know. Well, let's you know what? Instead of doing that, let's just go into the regular trends, and then we'll see. Here's the trending tab. Here we go. Trending number 1: riots 2020. Not a surprise. Not a surprise. Terrence K. Williams. Okay, we're gonna stop and watch Terrence. I'm not on a time schedule today, so we're gonna stop and watch Terrence because I'm curious if he's gonna annoy. I think Terrence is funny, but he may annoy me in this situation, or he may not. But let's just see what.
You mean to tell
Hold
me
up.
that? Can somebody please explain to me what does breaking into the Gucci store have to do with the death of George Floyd? No, I'm serious. What does breaking into the Gucci store have to do with this man dying? So hold on. You mean to tell me that y'all care about George Floyd so much that the first thing you thought about doing was breaking into the Gucci store? A man died, and the only thing you could think of was going to the mall to break into a designer store? You are not there
Okay,
seeking justice.
to be fair, it wasn't Gucci. It was Louis Vuitton. But I'm just saying,
At the Gucci store, you are there looking for some Gucci shoes. I'm not stupid. You people are not there looking for justice. You are there looking for new shoes and new clothes and some new bling bling that you can sell on the streets and make some money off of. Do you think I'm dumb? No, I'm not.
you know, it's funny too is there was one city or one clip I saw. They broke into a car dealership. They're driving cars out the dealership. I'm like, Mom. No, there's a problem. The thing with that, they might have an inventory. Well, maybe the inventory list got burned up, but what? These people out here stealing
I might
cars.
have been born, but I wasn't born yesterday. I'm not stupid. I know how you thugs roll. And you are not rolling with George Floyd. You are rolling for yourself. You are all about yourself. You are not doing this for George Floyd. What you are doing is despicable, disgraceful, and shameful. And every single one of you
he's
need
not
to
wrong.
be in handcuffs, locked up, and thrown away in the state penitentiary. No parole. This is shameful that you will use, shameful, no. This is straight up evil and devilish that you will use the name of a man named George Floyd and use his
What's
death
happening, Kyle? I see it.
as an excuse to steal and to loot and to burn down stuff. Shame on you. Shame on you. Talking about y'all there looking for justice. Nobody, I've never in my life heard somebody looking for justice at a designer store. And people want me to take y'all seriously? I cannot take you seriously because you are not serious about George Floyd. The only thing you are serious about is filling up your pockets with money, stealing clothes and shoes, and benefiting off of the death of George Floyd. Shameful. Y'all are a bunch of thieves, a bunch of goons, a bunch of thugs. That is exactly what you are. A bunch of selfish pricks that don't care about nobody. You are a disgrace to this country. And I'm not saying that because of the color of your skin. I am saying that because of your character.
It's a whole. It's pretty.
Can somebody please explain to...
It's a pretty diverse group up there stealing shit. So that's the color of their skin. But yeah, that's that's part of group 3. If you weren't here earlier, 3 distinct groups involved in this phenomenon that involved in cases of protest. 1, genuine protesters, the people who are out there first, the people out there who just want to be heard, just want to talk about their anger and demonstrate that, that what they believe, whether I believe everything they're protesting or not, they're just there to protest. And then there's the Antifa, the assholes, people coming out to break shit, people coming in there to just cause chaos and havoc. And then this third group that is just the opportunists, the people who just say, gives me an excuse to go out and steal shit while this is all going on. I can do this under the cover of all this other bullshit. So anyway, and that's this is Dinesh D'Souza. I call on the FBI to investigate the criminal conspiracy behind the organized riots nationwide. The problem is the FBI Director Christopher Wray is too busy covering up the political corruption within the Bureau itself. I don't know. There are hints of that's kind of it's a conspiracy theory, right? You're not supposed to say conspiracy theories on YouTube, but I don't know. I don't know if it's organized. I don't know what it is, but it seems to be a pattern in all these places. Did anyone see the white skateboard supremacist video? It's a funny and based take on the CNN attack. No, I'll see if we can find it here. Paris Denard. I'm too emotionally impacted by the death of George Floyd, but please stop the violence and looting and rioting and the destruction of property in our communities. Think of the long-term damage. Don't allow anyone from inside and outside your community to destroy it. Agreed. Someone named Mino Drano or something like that. Dude got separated from his squad and look what happens. The media won't show. I don't know what. Okay. These guys were protecting their place. And so these are the guys. See, these are guys trying. The police officer got separated from the squad, and so these guys are protecting him. See, I'm like I saying, there's people out there doing the right thing. Now I don't know if the media will show this or not. I bet the media would be quick to show this. Okay, if they have it. But these guys, so these brothers are out here protecting the guy. Good for them. They need to have some. They need to be commended. All right, and I'm gonna retweet that, even though I think the media will show it. This guy, the police today has lost its moral compass. How has the police lost its moral compass? No, that officer lost his moral compass. They fired him and he's been arrested. But why do cops come out in full force to protect their worst? When a teacher is revealed to be a pedophile, all teachers don't stand behind them in blind solidarity. They're thankful that they got caught and hope the kids are okay. Okay, wait a minute. Someone tell me who the police officer is has anyone come out and have you seen any officers? Have you seen even their union? Have you seen their union come out and say, you know what, we think that this guy should be let go and whatnot? Anybody? I've seen police officers, I've been police chiefs all over the country comment on this situation who have said, no, that's not what we do. All the goodwill that we have been trying to, try to sow goodwill in the community, and you asshole fucked it up with that stupid action. I haven't seen it. These people, the police, are not out here in full force protecting their worst. They're out here in full force trying to stop people from breaking shit. They're not protecting that officer. What are you talking about? What the actual fuck are you talking about? This is not a great quote. Okay, good. This is not a great quote. The police are not protecting their own. They're protecting these people and businesses from looters and rioters. When a peaceful protest turns into a violent ambush and burning buildings, the police have to put the foot down. Do it right or stay at home. Damn straight. Jesus Christ. No, cops are not defending him. Sure, cops are defending him physically, but not sure if they are necessarily supporting him. If they don't defend him physically, he gets murdered without a fair trial. While that probably is justice, it's not how things are done here. Have you ever heard of George Floyd or Philando Castile? Yeah, those are wrong. Jesus Christ. It's the same reason they protect criminals move to and from jail. They have a duty to protect every citizen. It's not that they're standing with him, I'm sure. Oh, I see. Maybe there was a place where, maybe they're talking about when he was arrested, they were protected. Well, that's their job to protect him. That was his job to protect George Floyd, too. Okay? That's why we're angry about George Floyd, because even if George Floyd had murdered somebody, once they had him down and apprehended and subdued, it was their job to keep him alive so that he can go to trial and have there actually be justice. That's what we're mad about. That's what I'm mad about. That's why that's so wrong. Instead of George Floyd either paying or not paying for whatever he did or didn't do, because we don't know what he did for sure, but the responsibility of that officer and those 4 officers was to make sure that George Floyd had an opportunity to have his day in court. And they're obligated to do that. And even if he was a mass murderer, they had an obligation to make sure that he had his day in court once they subdued him. They're not the army. They're not someone going out and killing the enemy. Okay? In the army, you go kill the enemy. In the police, you try to create a justice system that everyone gets their chance in court. That's where they failed. And, and so same with this guy. Of course, they're going to come out full force to protect a custody in a suspect in custody. The officer is a suspect in custody now. And there is a huge mob of people who want that man dead. It's their job to protect him. When they arrested Jeffrey Dahmer, they had a lot of cops out there protecting him. That's what they're supposed to do. Hi, Jack. How you doing? Yeah, that don't even make sense. I was thinking the same thing. As a teacher, if I were to touch a child inappropriately, I would not only lose my job, I would never be able to teach again. What bothers me is that these cops can get another job in another police department. I don't think so. This guy ain't going to. This guy ain't gonna have another job. Hell, Darren Wilson isn't even working as a police officer anymore. Remember Darren Wilson? The guy who was acquitted in the Mike Brown case? He's not a police officer anymore. He can't get a job as a police officer. So no, they don't always. Sometimes they do. Well, sometimes they do if the facts show that they actually did something in self-defense. I know a lot of people want all cops who kill somebody to be fired, but hey, not in every case it's necessary. In fact, it's the rare cases that it's not necessary. It's the rare cases. This is a rare case. But if it bleeds, it leads. And boy, I'll tell you, CNN and MSNBC and ABC and all the other news networks love to show this blood, because it's ratings. They love this kind of stuff. They love stoking racial fires because it's ratings. It gives them something to do. It makes them relevant because they're the big news people. They're so important, and it's great for them. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Yeah, that's nice. 4,000 likes on this one. Yeah, fuck off. This woman deserves a Nobel Peace Prize for her brave spirit. Let's see what happens here. This is long. Let me just see.
We are on the corner of Prairie and El Segundo, and they have their guns drawn on this young black man right here.
Okay. Why?
Why are your guns pulled on this young man? He has no weapons on
Okay,
him.
he says that,
We
but you
live
don't know
right
that.
now. We are so live. What's your name?
They attacked you.
What's
at the gas station, they attacked you.
What's your name? What's your name?
Make sure you add that.
What's your
My name is William.
last name, William?
What you loaded for? I ain't doing shit. I have no weapons. Y'all gonna kill an unarmed black man?
Are you gonna shoot him? Are you gonna shoot him?
What?
Okay, relax, baby. Relax. Relax, because they will shoot you. They killed my boyfriend in 2015. Yes, he was killed by the police.
Yeah, what did he do?
You're gonna shoot me too, right? For filming, right? We live. Look at that big ass gun she got on this man with no weapon.
Okay, look. I get it. Picture of a black man with guns drawn on him. They don't know anything. No one knows. There's no context to this. Now, he can say he doesn't have any weapons, but I've seen enough videos of live action where officers were killed in action because, no weapons, and then all of a sudden, here comes a weapon, they're shooting. Okay, so I get it. I get it. Why they might have their weapons drawn. We don't know why. She don't know why they stopped him. She knows nothing about it, but she needs to get out of the way. Okay. Now, apparently, the female officers here don't know. I don't know what's going on here, but
Is all that really necessary, ma'am? I'm sorry. I just need to know. Is all the guns drawn on him necessary? Excuse me, Mr. Officer. My name is Sky Hosey. My boyfriend's name was Leroy Browning, and he was killed December 15th at a Taco Bell.
Okay.
This is crazy to me. Look, my car is right there. I was getting gas. I don't understand why y'all got guns drawn on him right now.
you don't know anything about the
To kill this
situation.
man. Like, look at these big ass guns they got on this man right now.
Now
Look at
she's
this
putting
baby.
herself in danger.
Look at this baby.
Stand up and walk slowly to the sound of my voice. Do it now.
Can y'all just put your guns away and somebody get them?
Sound of my voice.
My name is William, not suspect.
Don't move. Don't move. Please don't move. Can somebody just come get him? Can somebody put your guns down and get him, please? Don't resist him, okay? Why are y'all pulling him over with so many guns and he's unarmed? My name is Sky.
All right.
My boyfriend was killed by the LA County Sheriff's in 2015.
Okay. We got a call of a robbery, and he loosely matches the description of just detaining him, okay? We're going to investigate, all right? We're not saying he's a suspect, but we're going to figure out what's going on, all right? So try and relax.
Yeah.
So we can figure out. It says a weapon was involved. That's the only reason why he gets held at gunpoint, okay? It's just for our safety and everybody around safety, all right? Just relax till we figure out what's going on, okay? Who is that gentleman to you?
I don't even know him. I'm just getting gas.
So she knows
Yeah, but I
nothing
care
about it.
that
But
much.
you know what? And again, the hype of everything we hear every day. But you know what? The officer came down and calmed her down. They take care of the suspect or non-suspect. And you know what? If they have a call of an armed robbery and someone could be armed and dangerous and they fit the description, that's what they're going to do. That is their job. So anyway, enough of her. Oh my gosh. Oh, here. Best volley in Thugs history. Keep throwing tear gas. Okay, this guy's uses soccer skills to kick the tear gas away. From the nonviolent protest in Kansas City, Missouri. Okay, so these are officers that say and police brutality. I don't know I'm not sure if I get what's going on there. Are these guys cops or not? I don't know what that is, but that's interesting. Oh, here is Killer Mike's speech. And you may not agree with everything he says, but this is pretty amazing speech off the cuff by Killer Mike. Killer Mike's a celebrity down in Atlanta. He owns a bunch of property down there, and he's well known. He's a Bernie bro and all that, but that doesn't really matter. And he's no fan of Trump, but I think his speech here is actually pretty good.
Here we are 80 years later. I didn't want to come, and I don't want to be here. I'm the son of an Atlanta City police officer. My cousin is an Atlanta City police officer, and my other cousin, East Point police officer. And I got a lot of love and respect for police officers, down to the original 8 police officers in Atlanta that even after becoming police had to dress in a YMCA because white officers didn't want to get dressed with niggers. And here we are 80 years later. I watched a white officer assassinate a black man. And I know that tore your heart out. And I know it's crippling. And I have nothing positive to say in this moment because I don't want to be here. But I'm responsible to be here because it wasn't just Dr. King and people dressed nicely who marched him.
So to dress the Kill Your Masters shirt, I didn't say you have to agree with everything here, and I'm not a fan of that message. I don't know. I don't know the background behind the message. For one, it may be related to the slave revolt in Haiti back in the day. I don't know what that stands for, but let's listen to his message that comes out of his mouth. I don't understand. I don't know the background behind what he's got going on here. So the shirt. So I don't care right now. That's not the important part.
Protested to progress this city and so many other cities.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I've watched this, and he bashes Trump in here, but he makes some statements that are bashing certain things. But I don't. You know what? The message though here is solid. So just listen to the whole message first.
People like my grandmother, people like my aunts and uncles who were members of SCLC and NAACP, and in particular, Reverend James Orange, Mrs. Alice Johnson, and Reverend Love, who we just lost last year. So I'm duty bound to be here to simply say that it is your duty not to burn your own house down for anger with an enemy. It is your duty to fortify your own house.
I don't agree with the enemy part of this speech. But it is manipulative language. I get it. But think of who he's talking to. Okay, unfortunately, here's the problem. Unfortunately, Mike's talking to people who probably realize what he's saying is correct. But the people who aren't there to listen are the Antifa assholes, or the people who are coming in from other places and just came. The group number 2 in my 3 sections of this phenomenon that I talked about earlier. He's talking to group number 1. The problem is group number 2 is not going to hear a fucking word he says because they don't give a fuck. They just came to break shit. But he's talking to group number 1 and probably telling them, don't join into that shit.
So that you may be a house of refuge.
But build, and anyway, the point here he's making is build, instead of burning a house, you should be building your house and making the community better. That's what he's saying here. I don't like the message on the t-shirt. I don't know the background behind that message. And the idea assassinate, I'm pretty positive that I'm pretty positive Derek Chauvin didn't go out to kill somebody that day, but he certainly fucked up and didn't do his duty and is liable for the death of that man. But I don't think he came out to assassinate anybody. So I know, but that he's speaking the language of the people he's talking to.
Organization, and now is the time to plot, plan, strategize, organize, and mobilize. It is time to beat up prosecutors you don't like at the voting booth. It
he
is
says
time
to go
to hold
rather
mayoral
than
offices
and I
accountable.
disagree with who he probably
Chiefs
going to
and
vote with
deputy
too.
chiefs. Atlanta's
But
not
he's
perfect,
got the right.
but we're a lot better than we ever were, and we're a lot better than cities are. I'm mad as hell. I woke up wanting to see the world burn down yesterday because I'm tired of seeing black men die.
And you know what? But guess what? Black man dies. News at 11 every time. No matter what. And that's the problem that I have with it. It's the problem I have with it because it's oppression porn, and it also gets ratings.
He casually put his knee on a human being's neck for 9 minutes as he died like a zebra in the clutch of a lion's jaw. And we watch it like murder porn over and over again. So that's why children are burning to the ground. They don't know what else to do.
No,
and it is the responsibility of us to make this better. Right now, we don't want to see one officer charged. We want to see 4 officers prosecuted and sentenced. We don't want to see targets burning. We want to see the system that sets up for systemic racism burnt to the ground. And as I sit here in Georgia, home of Stevens, Georgia, former vice president of the Confederacy, white man said that law, fundamental law, stated that whites were naturally the superior race, and the Confederacy was built on a cornerstone. It's called a cornerstone speech. Look it up. The cornerstone speech that blacks would always be subordinate. That officer believed that speech.
Okay, I didn't know that song. Okay, I didn't. Whatever.
He killed that man like an animal. In this city, officers have done horrendous things and they have been prosecuted. This city's cut different. In this city, you can find over 50 restaurants owned by black women. I didn't say minority, and I didn't say women of color. So after you burn down your own home, what do you have left but char and ash? CNN? Ted did a great thing. I love CNN, I love Cartoon Network, but I'd like to say to CNN right now, karma's a mother. Stop feeding fear and anger every day.
That's the line that I wanted to hear. That's I don't, like I said when I put this on, you're not everyone's going to agree with everything in this, and there's certain things that I absolutely don't agree with. But that one, CNN, stop doing fear and anger every day. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite. Here, have a case of beer on me. I think you meant I'm tired of blacks burning down and looting their communities. That's right. We need to set up a rooftop. We need to set up rooftop. Black Hebrew Israelite. That's right. Okay, but hang on now, because right now it's not black people burning down the community. Okay, it's not the people who came to protest that are burning down the community. It's the assholes who come down. It's the assholes who came to burn shit down who are burning the community, who are getting people to loot the community. If you were here earlier, I said there's 3 people in these protests. There's the people in the community who just want to be heard, and I don't. And again, I don't subscribe to the we're being hunted and killed every day. I don't subscribe to that at all. But regardless, there's the people who came out to protest to let their voices be heard. Oh, I forgot to do that.
That's right.
There's a second group who just came to break shit and burn shit down. And then there's the group that's out there who are opportunists, who are just gonna, you know what? Hey, this is going on. I'm gonna go get some free shit. Oh, I'm gonna go break into the Louis Vuitton store at a mall. That have nothing to do with this shit. There's a time when, but guess what? Guess whose community is getting burnt down right now? I think the people who live there don't want that shit burnt down at all. Thank you so much, by the way, for the $6 super chat. Streamlabs links in the description and in the chat. I appreciate that so greatly. Oh wait, did I do the wrong one? You know what? That was the wrong one. That's the old one. Malia, thank you for the $5 super chat. I actually accidentally scrolled back to an old one. How did that come? Wow, that's weird because that was from the other day. Thank you. Thank you, Malia. I'm whatever. So
stop making people feel so fearful. Give them hope. I'm glad they only took down a sign and defaced a building and they're not killing human beings like that policeman did. I'm glad that they only destroyed some brick and mortar and they didn't rip a father from a son. They didn't rip a son from a mother like the policeman did. When a man yells for his mother in duress and pain and she's dead, he is essentially yelling, please, God, don't let it happen to me. And we watch that. So my question for us on the other side
and
of
understand
the
understand the pain in watching that, especially if you're the mindset that they're out here to kill us. Okay, look from that perspective because I get it. I don't have that perspective, but I understand why this would be so painful from that perspective. I understand why people would be protesting if they have that perspective. Because it's one of those things that people believe, and so I get it. But at least his message is not to go out and destroy shit. Just go vote. Go do,
Is after it burns, will we be left with charred, or will we rise like a phoenix out of the ashes that Atlanta has always done? Will we use this as a moment to say that we will not do what other cities have done, and in fact, we will get better than we've been? We got good enough to destroy cash bonds.
Absolutely, John Connor.
You don't have to worry about going to jail for something petty. We got
John
smart
Connor.
enough to decriminalize marijuana. How smart are we going to be in the next 15 or 20 years to keep us ahead of this curve? So that much like when South Africa suffered apartheid, you had Andy and other politicians that could make sure that Atlanta said, Coca-Cola, we love you, but if you don't pull out of South Africa, we're going to leave. We're not going to drink Coca-Cola anymore. Coca-Cola jumped on their side and apartheid ended. So we have an opportunity now. Because I'm mad, I don't have any good advice. But what I can tell you is that if you sit in your homes tonight, instead of burning your home to the ground, you will have time to properly plot, plan, strategize, and organize and mobilize in an effective way. And two of the most effective ways is first taking your butt to the computer and making sure you fill out your census so that people know who you are and where you are. The next thing is making sure you exercise your political bully power and going to local elections and beating up the politicians that you don't like. You got a prosecutor sent your partner to jail and you know it was bullshit. Put a new prosecutor in there. Now's your election to do it. You want a different senator that's more progressive, that promotes marijuana through? Now is the time to do that. But it is not time to burn down your own home.
Or anyone else's home.
I hate I don't have more to say. I hate I can't fix it in a snap. I hate Atlanta's not perfect for as good as we are. But we have to be better than this moment. We have to be better than burning down our own homes. Because if we lose Atlanta, what else we got? We lose an ability to plot, to plan, to strategize, to organize, and to properly mobilize. I want you to go home. I want you to talk to 10 of your friends. I want you guys to come up with real solutions. I would like for the Atlanta City Police Department to bring back the Community Review Board, one that Alice Johnson was formerly under Chief Turner. We need a review board here.
Okay, so anyway, so that's
before an officer does some stupid shit.
Again, I don't expect you to like the whole message, but I do appreciate that his solution is not about what you can destroy, but what you can build. And so I'm all for that. Protesters shielding an officer who was separated from the rest of his unit. This type of humanity solidarity needs to receive more attention. That's the one I did before. Protesting was once our only tool. Black people couldn't vote. We can now. It's time for a long game thinking. Mobilize to vote, plan to run for local, state, and federal office yourself. Riots got you heard, but real change comes from the majority. No, riots got you, ain't getting you jack. It ain't getting you heard because no one's hearing. That's the other problem. The riots are not getting you heard. The riots are making people stop listening to what you're saying. It's counterproductive. Nobody's talking about what you're saying if you're part of the protesters. That's why the protesters are mad. That's why the protesters want nothing to do with the people who are destroying shit. Because the actual protesters, the actual people who are there to demonstrate and ask to have their voices heard, guess what? Your voices aren't being heard. And they know that. That's why they don't want nothing to do with these assholes breaking shit and stealing shit and looting shit. The real people out there trying to lead something, the real people out there trying to have their voices heard, aren't having their voices heard now. They're not. Do you see any voices being heard in this? Okay, Brian Krasenstein or his uglier twin brother, who tweet under the name of one of their wives, says this police officer is a hero. He is an example of how they should all act. This needs to go viral. Okay, let's see what Brian Krasenstein or his uglier twin brother, who tweets under the name of one of their wives, has decided to show us. Let's see what this one is.
I do, all right? I have a son who's 31. I've got a son who's 15, all right? And I have to have these conversations with them all the time. So we're not telling y'all to leave. What was going on up here was wrong. That's why we brought it to a stop. The loudspeaker, the yakking and the yapping. We said pause. Let these people remain here. Let them stay in the street. Let them express their grievances because you have a right to be pissed off.
Well, over there, they don't feel the same way.
That's why I told them to shut the fuck up.
There we go. There we go. Y'all need to be like him. What's your IG name, Murphy? You a real one. Yo, get Wayne on the picture though, Wayne. You need to get that energy to some of your. You need to tell your people.
One at a time, my brother. One at a time.
Real talk. We got in them locker rooms. You need to be fucking them up every day.
You're right. One at a time. Absolutely right.
I want to hear all y'all say some shit like that. I want to hear all y'all say some shit like that.
I want to hear you say some shit like that.
Okay, well, is that extraordinary? I don't know. Anyway, let's get back into it. Let's move on. Trending number 2, Black Lives Matter. Of course, the media won't show these things. Yeah, a lot of people are saying there. Of course, the media won't show these things. I guarantee you they will show these things. They're going viral, so of course they'll say these things. In the big year of 2020 TikTokers, think a chain of saying we support BLM is doing their part to support, and they can't even do it with a song by a black person. They get 1 million likes on average, but can't even link a petition. Fuck y'all. Hey, I got an idea. How about just giving them some fucking credit? Oh my God. It's just like, you know what? First of all, who gives a fuck? Okay, last night in Baltimore, these folks led a peaceful protest and got a meeting with the police commissioner today at noon. For some reason, the media isn't sure. You know that you're gonna hear. You're right. You're right. The media's not showing it. You know why? Nobody's bleeding. See, if this would have been the way it went everywhere, they might be listening to this instead. Let's see what this one's about.
Be willing to prepare if we want to come up and stand up and patrol and protect our own communities? Are you going to help us get access to those resources? Are you going to help us make sure that we are protected and not judged and not attacked by the police when we are protecting our own communities. They should be protecting us while we do this. They shouldn't be nowhere around. If we don't call for them, if we don't
Tell
need
them
them,
that
we
shit.
can
Yes,
sir.
So the question is, can we be down here? Watch this. 12 o'clock on tomorrow. But the reason why we're gonna be that look. Watch this. Demonstrated peacefully. Now he get.
Okay, so yeah, I don't care about. I want to. If you're gonna protest peacefully. If voting worked, they wouldn't let us do it. Oh, yeah, that's true. K-pop fans are supporting Black Lives Matters by refusing to promote their faves on Twitter. Oh God, just how about accept the support? Wait, what? What is this about? That's not. Oh my God, now they're trying to say that the guy who was arrested isn't really him. Oh, good Lord. You know what? You go take a look at some Instagram models where they show the picture and then they show it from a different angle. People look different from different angles. Shut the fuck up. Antifa's trending number 3. The Independent Trump says those protesting George Floyd's death are Antifa and the radical left. No, some of them are. The ones who are fucking shit up are. Donald Trump has blamed the Antifa and the radical left for unrest across America in the wake of George Floyd's death, saying, "Don't lay the blame." Oh, well, let's see what he says. I'll click this one. I hate the Independent, but I'll see what it says. What did they say that the Trump says? What they say Trump says doesn't always mean it's what Trump actually said. It just means they spun it some way to make it sound like Trump said something bad, when sometimes it's just something that has a different meaning when it's put into context. So I don't trust the Independent or any of these. The Independent's related to the New York Times, by the way, if you were not familiar with that. Okay, here's how they write it. Donald Trump has blamed Antifa and the radical left for unrest across America in the wake of George Floyd's death, saying, don't lay the blame on others. Okay. Yeah, don't blame it on the people who are there to actually have their voices heard. The president used his Twitter feed to repeatedly call into question the motives of protesters on Saturday morning, insisting that there were organized groups that have nothing to do with George Floyd. At one point Friday night, the White House went into partial lockdown due to protesters nearby, who Mr. Trump dismissed as professionally managed so-called protesters who had little to do with the memory of George Floyd. Okay, he's not wrong. He also appeared to call for a counter-protest, tweeting, "Tonight, I understand, is MAGA night at the White House." Okay, I don't know what that's about. But anyway, there's some shitheads out there fucking shit up that the actual demonstrators who went there to have their voices heard are whatever. Ashley Ray Groipenberg. Oh God. I hope you guys remember that white people are going to be blamed no matter what happens. Either it's conservative blaming white people in Antifa, or Antifa blaming secret white supremacists when black people riot. It's always Whitey's fault. Okay. Ashley, I don't know. She's this communism killed person. This is somebody saying, last night was really already MAGA night with the white nationalists dressed like Black Bloc. Oh, is that what it is? Okay, smashing and setting fire to black-owned businesses all over the country. I think we can do without another MAGA night, you syphilis chode. Here, every single person arrested last night, I'm told, was from out of state. Melvin Carter, mayor of St. Paul. This is not Antifa. These were white nationalists. Minnesota Public Safety Commissioners say white nationalists are organizing and coming to the state for violence and destruction. In other words, white supremacists are following Trump's lead. Can someone tell me how every single protest somehow ends up being coordinated by some white Antifa-looking motherfucker with a man bun? Yeah, I swear far-left white Antifa losers are freaking leeches. They latch onto protests just so they can exploit the tragedy and create chaos. Interesting. That's a take I wasn't expecting, but here's one. Here's a protester telling a white Antifa bro to stop destroying property. What people don't realize is that these Antifa are a source of a lot of these issues. They infiltrate these protests and cause chaos. This is the one I saw earlier. Yeah, so, yeah, there's, yeah, I don't know about the, holy shit. Anyway, Jeff Charles says, if you have seen actual evidence of white supremacists engaging in the rioting, hit me up. It's already been shown that Antifa thugs have been involved, but it's not far-fetched to think that white nationalists would do the same. But I won't make that claim until I can back it up. Well, at least thank you, Jeff Charles. I like Jeff. Jeff on the right, he writes for Red State. And people making that claim, I haven't seen that. I've seen the people. Now, except for that, I'm still curious who the dude with the umbrella breaking the windows at AutoZone might have been, but who knows? Anyway, Neon Taster says this is all anarchist stuff, not even specifically Antifa. It's the same general type of nihilist anarchism you see at every G8 summit, plus just bored suburban hipsters who love to be able to break shit and get away with it. There's a lot of unrelated bandwagoning here too. So this is from the U.S. Secret Service. On Friday, May 29th into early Saturday, May 30th, 2020, U.S. Secret Service Uniform Division officers made 6 arrests during demonstrations in and around Lafayette Park and along Pennsylvania Avenue near the White House. Demonstrators repeatedly attempted to knock over security barriers on Pennsylvania Avenue. No individuals crossed the White House fence, and no Secret Service protectees were ever in any danger. Some of the demonstrators were violent, assaulting Secret Service officers and special agents with bricks, rocks, bottles, fireworks, and other items. Multiple Secret Service Uniform Division officers and special agents sustained injuries from this violence. The Metropolitan Police Department and U.S. Park Police were on the scene. The Secret Service respects the right to assemble, and we ask that individuals do so peacefully for the safety of all. So, message there. Why is the online even trying this? We see it's Antifa, and they're not really hiding it. Why are they pretending these people are white nationalists? Because they want to make it about Trump. That's why. That's why. It's Antifa, the radical left. You just tweeted about General MacArthur and Patton. They were Antifa, dipshit. Fuck you. Okay. No. Yes. MacArthur and Patton fought a war against fascists. Actual fascists, you dipshit. The little fucking LARPer Antifa anti-fascists who just don't like... You're just the same fucking anarchist from Seattle in 79, you fucking assholes. Trump loses legitimacy in his claim it was Antifa when he calls the Tiki Torch Boys calls in the Tiki Torch Boys 5 tweets early. What are you talking about? Neither of those groups are good. They're just two ends of the spectrum that has freedom in the middle. What Tiki Torch Boys did he call? He didn't call it. Fuck that shit. He didn't. Oh my God. This is a disturbing playbook by Democratic officials. Lockdown states across the country, release criminals from prison due to COVID-19, make it mandatory to wear masks in public, let said cities burn to the ground, then blame the GOP. Oh, I don't know. Maybe. Now this is the dude. Okay, this is the guy that I'm talking about. This guy, who is this? guy with the pizza tried to stop the fake Antifa protester while he methodically smashed windows in Minneapolis. People allegedly followed Umbrella Man to the 3rd precinct. Minneapolis St. Paul police denied the rumor that he was undercover. This fucker, I don't know who this guy was, but he clearly was out. And then the pizza guy just confronts him. We don't know who this asshole is, but he seems like an op too. He seemed like an op, and they chased him down.
Those cops will come for you if you're pulling that crap.
They're trying to find out who he is. Lindsay, you're right. You're right. We're all angry about it. The whole country is angry about what happened to George Floyd. I'm going to say it over and over again. We had a minute where everyone was on the same page, and now nobody's talking about George Floyd, except for the people who actually came to protest in an actual protest, and the actual people who just want to have their voices heard. And guess what? Now all these people breaking shit. You focus on what's in front of you. Right now, you can't focus on what's in front of you because that loud bang over there makes you look at the fire that's been set. And so when the heat from the fires radiating onto you, that's what you need to pay attention to, and that's what everyone's paying attention to now. Whose fault is it that no one's listening to these people who actually have a legitimate, or whatever, reason to protest, a legitimate reason to protest? That fire's about to set my house on fire. I better pay attention to that right now. That's what's happening right now. It's not that we don't care about George Floyd. Everybody in the country who saw that tape cared about George Floyd. But now we can't see George Floyd because there's a fire coming at me. Someone trying to break the windows of my car and set my car on fire. Hey, remember? Antifa means anti-fascist, LOL. I wonder, now I don't know if this person's making fun of it or what. Ooh, I can already tell the replies to this tweet are going to be stupid. Have fun. It also means trust fund kids who want to see the world burn. And DPRK means Democratic People's Republic of Korea too, LOL. Obviously I'm taking my time because there's probably U.S. pro-democracy activists. Who you choose to call terrorists and who you choose to call freedom fighters depends entirely on which side of the empire you're on. Yeah. Among the more than 200 arrested by the NYPD during Friday night protest over George Floyd's death was this woman with a lit Molotov cocktail. Yeah. Okay, so if you throw that Molotov cocktail and it burns, do you think anyone is thinking about George Floyd as whatever you set on fire is on fire? I think they're paying attention to the fire. They probably aren't thinking about George Floyd right now, right? This is the unseen cost of inciting riots. People like him are the true victims when the DNC paid resist and Antifa agitators arrived. This is the price you'd never... now, you know what? All these people talking about, and I'm talking about whatever side you're on. This is the people you never see on CNN. No, I'm sure you'll see it somewhere, and you know what? Fine, blow it up on social media. So this is a guy who confronting. Where the hell did it go? Shit, there it is.
Stop being off. I hate you. If you didn't think it's too damn bad. Don't destroy my stuff! Don't burn down my soul! Come on, Uncle. I worked too hard for this! You don't even understand nothing. Come on. It's not right! It's not right!
No, I don't think that this is from this year.
I came from the ghetto too! Same as all of you did! Y'all need to listen! But you know, y'all messed up my business! And you call it black power! You mad at the white man? Why destroy my business? Why destroy my truck? Why steal my computer? I'm trying to make it. Could you understand that? Can't y'all see it? I'm trying to make it. Just start listening.
I don't think this is from this year, but anyway. But I've seen that type of scene all over the place. I'm not sure if this is legit. Just someone posted the Antifa manual that was supposedly dropped in Portland. Is it real? You decide, but the speech comes straight from the SJW dictionary. You can look that one up yourself. I'm not going to go through this one. It's too small. 10% of every Portland protest seems to be young white folks who paused their video games and showed up only to break things. Shattered glass can be powerful at the right time, but they should have stopped with the Justice Center. Yeah, they destroyed the Justice Center in Portland. The Justice Center is like... wait a minute. I agree. I wouldn't be surprised if the investigation bears out that this was the systematic approach of destruction led by wacko groups like Antifa or the Proud Boys or whoever the trendy anarchists are these days. Yeah, that's not... The Proud Boys don't go out and break shit. They just defend themselves. Started recording these white guys who was completely out of place planning to 86 this building. It seems like organized burning. They tried to fight. We ran them away. After tonight, I'm convinced that the fires are largely organized arson. I'm seeing this over and over again. Anyway, let's go on because I'm dwelling on this one too long. So Amish. Now this is interesting. Trump resigned. Trump resigned now is trending. I'm not going to play Terrence. Trump don't hate black people. Please stop blaming President Trump for the death of George Floyd. Stop the Trump resign now. Trump has spent his morning tweeting about how he's going to use the Secret Service to come down on protesters hard and how he felt totally safe. He's clearly seen the revolution at his doorstep and he is scared. Keep it up, DC. No. You do not threaten the President of the United States, no matter who it is. I'm sorry. You do not. Jesus Christ. I will code what I really want to say to Donald Trump. It's 2 words beginning with F and it ends with U. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Let's see what she says here.
And I will code what I really want to say to Donald Trump. It's 2 words.
Oh, that's what she said.
It begins with F and it ends with U. And I will code what I really want to say to Donald Trump. It's 2 words. It begins
Lori
with
Lightfoot.
F.
Well, you got an issue in your city, ma'am, and has nothing to do with this either. And you're going around. Never mind. I just, oh shit, she's tiresome. So the hashtag activists are out again. If in case you're wondering, the German word for MAGA night is Kristallnacht. Oh, it's cute. He thanked his Secret Service people for protecting the White House. The country is literally burning. Black men are still being murdered in the streets. Yes, black men are being murdered in the streets. It's the leading cause of death of men aged 15 to 45. And yes, there are these rare occasions where it's done by a police officer. But we got to fix the rest of them too. And there are people out there trying to do that. Don't get me wrong. There are people in every community in this country where this is happening. With the There are activists in the community doing community work. So that's the other part, that we don't see all the time. We see the loud protests that are nationwide for when the rare occasion where we have a George Floyd situation, and the Sean Kings and not so much Sean King. Sean King is kind of pariah right now, but Al Sharpton flies to Minneapolis, and we bring great attention to these rare events relative to what's really happening. And the people who are actually in those communities where this huge problem is, never hear about them. They're there. There are people in the community trying to solve this other problem that kills so many more people. And we don't get to hear about them. I wish we heard about them more. There's I can't remember if that's here or the Mad Dad people here. When Minneapolis was known as Murderapolis, and there were community leaders out there doing great work. You didn't hear about them. But there are people out in this community. And if you live in a community where this is happening, I would say, you know what? Go find that local community, the local group that's actually trying to solve that problem. Because that's the problem I want people to talk about. Because Black Lives Matter isn't talking about that. They're talking about the man's bite dog events. Which I'm not saying that they're wrong to talk about that man bites dog event, but there's those local people that are trying to solve the exponentially bigger problem. People like to bring up Chicago all the time. Oh, there's this many murders in Chicago. Well, there's activists in Chicago who are trying to deal with that, but they're not getting the national support from that other group that we always hear about when this type of incident happened. But they're there trying to, they're there. I wish someone would support them and maybe solve that bigger problem. Because of half the dead black men who die from murder. What about white crime? What about white crime? Well, yeah, I think it's like 7% of the deaths in other races. It's 50% for us. Of people who are murdered, die from murder, die from homicide. But I want someone to go and support those groups that are trying to solve that problem. They don't make the national news. Ooh, excuse me. Probably had too much coffee. They don't make the national news. The people are trying to solve that problem. But everyone brings it up. Anytime one of these incidents happens, someone says, well, what about Chicago? People died in Chicago, Baltimore, or New Orleans. There's people there. I wish someone would go to help them solve that problem. The man bite dogs events are awful. But sometimes people who bring out always say, well, there's how many people killed in Chicago. Well, have you ever gone to Chicago and tried to help the group that's trying to solve that? Or has anyone ever made those groups a national, try to elevate their cause to a national level like we do when the man bite dog events happen? Boy, would that be awesome. Boy, I would love to see somebody be able to solve that problem. And I used to be one of those. This guy got killed. What about Chicago? Well, I'm not going to say that anymore. I know that problem. And I'll be honest, I haven't done anything about it. I haven't, maybe I'm going to start talking about other things like that. And maybe even the, God, what I was going to say. But maybe some of those situations were amplified. Just names. You don't know the names. Or even, you know what? It's not just black people that police officers kill. I don't know anyone, but I don't know any names of anybody else who's been killed by officers. Is it a major problem? Is there a problem with police brutality all around? Well, we certainly hear about it with us. I don't know. But anyway, I'm rambling again. So the hashtag activists. Hashtag activists. And they're blaming the coronavirus deaths on him. Wait, 123,000 kids caged. What are you talking about? You're making shit up. 49 murdered by right-wing domestic terrorists. 2018 alone. That's numbers false. They brought up that article. Holy shit. Oh, I don't know if you've been around with me for a while. There's the who is it? I think the ADL did the study on how what they say, right wing something adjacent or something have killed X number of people. And then I went through the list, and the list was like some guy who had killed his kid and they buried him in the backyard. They counted it because he had been in prison and he was affiliated with a the white prisoners group of whatever. And so they listed that as a right-wing related murder. That study, I mean, I went through, I think, 3 of the whatever cases of, dozens of cases were actually some kind of thing, and whatever. What a bunch of shit. People bring that shit up all the time. I just laugh every time they do. Okay, so Trump resigned now. Great. Moving on. Trending number 4. No, that's already there. Amish. Oh, here's why the Amish is trending, and I'm not going to dwell on this one. Apparently some of the Amish people in Minnesota have been supportive of this cause, and here it is. Even the Amish are sick of the police. Here's some picture of Amish people standing against systems of oppression, justice for George Floyd. So that's great. Maybe the justice for George Floyd is more important than that list, so it's funny. Finding that the Amish are protesting for BLM and then learning that they have a long history of supporting the civil rights movement being against slavery. This is currently my favorite part of the page of 2020 history textbook. Okay, so that's kind of humorous in a way, but protests I'll skip. Desi Banks. Who is Desi Banks? I don't know. Desi was making money off of hood dudes, and as soon as the real ones showed up, he went back to the subdivision. I don't know what that means. Timeline. Okay. Apparently Desi Banks is somebody that people waking up and seeing Desi fucking up both their careers. I don't know. Don't even know who that is, and I'm done looking at it because I want to get done here. All right, let's go to Killer Mike. We already saw that. We'll skip that. MAGA Night. We'll skip that. Pretty much everything that's trending has to do with this. Newark is trending. It's the shit popping off in Newark. They call us essential. They call us heroes. I'm just going to say it. We are expendable, says Courtney Brown, an Amazon warehouse worker in New York, New Jersey. Why we work in an Amazon warehouse? We didn't sign up. Okay. Thanks for flattering the commercials, but we're about to lose our hazard pay. Oh, they're saying that these... is that what they're talking about? If you're a white person and protesting in Newark today, please remember that the consequences of any impulsive escalation on your part will be centered on the people you are trying to support. Follow black leadership, listen to organize, don't make it worse. Yeah, the Antifa people are going to fuck it up, I guarantee. I am for protests and riots. Black people are tired. However, to all these who plan on protesting in Newark today, me included, please do not loot, riot the businesses downtown. Those businesses are mainly owned by black people, and some won't recover. How about not doing any of that shit and just getting your message heard without having a distraction? That would be a better idea. All right, so they're saying not to loot and do shit in business. Dior is trending, probably because the is it Dior or Louis Vuitton? Yeah, this is because the people were stealing shit at Louis Vuitton. We'll skip that. Whoops. Bloody Sunday is trending. Don't be doing research. This was taken right before Bloody Sunday. Okay, so people are showing this, and then they're talking about the Bloody Sunday protest in Selma. So fucking tired of y'all using the Selma protest as a peaceful one. Have y'all ever heard of Selma Bloody Sunday? Like, what the fuck? The protesters were peaceful in Selma. It was whatever. This is a protest. This is what happened next. Yeah, that's a whole different time. If you gotta break out the black and white photos every time you want to talk about this stuff, that might be a sign that it's a different era. Just saying. Flint's, Mennonites, anyway, Secret Service. I'm gonna go ahead and just be done with this. Oh, apparently there's gonna be a fight in UFC where Roosevelt Roberts promised a fight to the death. Okay, I'm gonna skip that. Oh, Hitler Youth is trending. Oh, I can't do it. I'm gonna call it a day, guys. I can't do it anymore. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this adventure today. It's completely unplanned, and but I do appreciate you all being here, of course, on the special edition of Saturday Night Live in the new studio, which obviously is not complete. You see shower curtain behind. It's not a shower curtain. Someone said the shower curtain behind me. That's funny. But thanks for coming by. Just on the whim of a notification you got, I appreciate it. Thank you also especially to Malia and C. Thomas and CNN Sucks and all the people who donated via Super Chat. Also, those of you who participate in the chat, I apologize. I wasn't as attentive to the chat today as I sometimes am. But so if I miss saying hi to you, I meant to, and I will do that in the future as I usually do. But y'all, I hope you have a great day. I hope I would suggest is go somewhere calm and peaceful and enjoy your day somehow. I'm going to stay away from the city today. In fact, I just might go build a fire in the fire pit outside and open a beer and maybe throw something on the grill. Because I already mowed my lawn this week, so I don't have a lawn to mow. And although I'm sure Lady Boom will find something for me to do anyway. That's all for today. Thank you for joining me on this special edition of Saturday Night Live. My normal show, The Morning Night Live, is Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 1500 GMT, for those of you who use that shit. And please make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already done so on the way out the door. And if you'd like to support the new studio that I'm finishing here and support The Morning Night Live with your financial contributions, that would be fantastic if you're able. You can do that through the Streamlabs link in the description down below, or right there at pdognight.live. That's the website where you can go, and the donation thing is up in the upper right-hand corner. So, follow me on Twitter, mine's Gab. If you're watching this on a replay, leave a comment so that I know you were here. That's all for today, people. I gotta go. My name's PDogKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDogKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDogKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDogKnight, and I'm out of here.